Sai Ram. In the last session of Parayanam, I was mentioning about one of the speeches during the Ooty Summer Course. Of course, it was only a sample of the type of speeches that we heard. It was wonderful. There were a number of very profound speakers who spoke. Justice Kailasham, for instance, Swami Chinmayananda was another one of those who gave a beautiful talk on the power of the mind. And of course, every evening we used to have Bhagawan's discourse. Swami had chosen the theme of Mahabharata. Throughout the talk, Swami kept emphasizing on the importance of seeing the human aspect of Lord Krishna. Generally, we say that Krishna did such and such a thing because he was God. And I am after all a human being, and thus we try to escape. And Swami was saying, look at the human side of Krishna. He said Krishna, who acted as a charioteer for Arjuna, would himself personally take the horses, wash them every day, apply medicine, ointment to their wounds, and took care of them personally. He said this aspect of Krishna also needs to be highlighted. In fact, when I was performing the Rajasya Yajnam, he was distributing duties to all those brothers of his. When Krishna went to him and asked, Yudhishthira, you have not given me any responsibility. And Yudhishthira said, Lord, how can I give you a responsibility? The whole yajnam, you are the one who receives the ahuti of this yajnam. How can I give you a responsibility? And then Krishna said, no, you must give me, as an emperor, you must give me also a responsibility. And he added, I also have a qualification. So what is it, Krishna? Krishna said, the task which I want to ask of you, I have a qualification for it. What is it? Is Engilakalu Ettiveyatam. I have a MA in that. Engilakalu Ettiveyatam. Removing the banana leaves after people had finished eating with the leftovers. That's what Krishna, that's the kind of duty that Krishna wanted to be assigned to him. So Swami said this kind of the human aspect of the avatar also needs to be looked into and emulated. So the summer course came to an end in the beginning of June. But Swami always reminds us that spirituality is not just about talking about the scriptures or writing scriptures. It is more about practice of the ideals in daily life. And I remember Swami told us that we have to go into the Ooty market and do service there. And he gave us a beautiful discourse. One point which stood out in that is Swami said, as thoroughly as you clean the Ooty market, I will clean your hearts. It was too good an offer. And so we grabbed it with both our hands. And I remember that morning, we all went in Nagar Sankirtan from Swami's residence to the Ooty market. And as we were going in procession in Nagar Sankirtan, Swami also came round twice to see us. And then we reached the Ooty market. We took up cleaning the market, and the market was made spick and span. In fact, I remember I was assigned a duty to clean a particular place, and there was a very orthodox Brahmin classmate of mine who took up the job of cleaning whatever was left in a butcher shop, because he said, this is tough for me and I want to take it up because Swami has given such a beautiful offer of cleaning my heart in exchange for the good work that I do. And so he did it so thoroughly that the shop owner came to him and requested, "Sir, please don't clean it so thoroughly because people will think that no customers are coming to my shop at all." So the entire market and in fact the bus stop also became very clean. And I remember that the Ooty municipality passed a resolution thanking the students of the Sathya Sai College for their excellent service. And Swami was extremely happy with us. And so he said, "I will take you on a picnic." And so the next day was arranged for that. And we went up the hill. There was a shed which was inaugurated that day. And we all went up with Swami. We had breakfast with Swami. We spent some time. Swami talked to. Swami was in a very, if you can ever say this, in a light mood. There's nothing like a mood for Swami, but Swami was so happy because his children had got such a good name from society. That's what pleases the mother so much. And we had a wonderful, I think, a couple of hours it was with Swami on top of the hill. And then it was time after Aarti to come down. And Swami looked at us and said, "Hey, how many of you are prepared to come for a race with me?" And naturally we were all very excited. And we all said, "Swami, we are ready, we are ready." And Swami said, "Okay, ready, steady." And even as we took off, we noticed that Swami got into his car and went away. Actually, and Swami had told us that whoever comes first, he would give us a prize. Whatever prize we asked for, he would give it to us. And then we reached Swami's residence. But imagine our surprise when we found that Swami's car was slowly coming up. It was more like Swami wanted us to win. He had gone down the hill. He had gone right up to Ooty town. And then he was coming up. And he came up slowly so that we could win. And we just reached about 3 minutes before Swami did. And Swami did, when he did reach, he said, "Hey, all of you have won, all of you have won." So there were about 30 of us or 35 of us who were there who had climbed down the hill quite fast. And then Swami asked, "What prize do you want?" One of the senior boys said, "Swami, we want you as the prize." And then Swami said, "Take me." And with a twinkle in his eye, he said, "This evening I'll give myself to you." And we were all very excited. We were wondering what was going to happen. And that evening, when Swami came, we could see that joy on his face, and he was full of excitement. He wanted to talk to us. He was bursting with news, literally, like that. And Swami called us. He told us that, "You ask me any question you want." And there was a student who asked Swami this question, a senior student. He said, "Swami, how do we teach lesson to these elders?" And then Swami laughed and said, "I will teach you how I lived my life to set an example to elders." So in that beautiful statement, Swami showed us that if you want to set an example for others, if you want to correct others, the best way is to set an example rather than try to point fingers. He said, "You set an example. To make a line look shorter, the best way is not to rub it off, but to draw a bigger line next to it, as they say." And so that evening, Swami started narrating about his life. It was the first time all of us were listening about the troubles and the trials and tribulations that Swami went through, being born in a poor family, in a isolated part of the world. There was no direct road to that village. That village was a unknown village. And how through all this, Swami, with that self-confidence, showed to the world what he truly is, and how starting at the small village level, he was able to correct the youth there and set an example for the elders there, And then as Swami grew up, because once he threw out his book and declared that he was Sai Baba, then the circle became even bigger, and people started rushing from towns and cities, and finally from the rest of the country, and of course, as we know, from the rest of the world. So this, Swami said, was the way that he had led his life. And right from that day, Swami said, youth have been following me. And as Swami said this, he said, for the rest of my life, you will see youth will follow me in bigger and bigger numbers. And then he said, you don't have to worry about anything. Your future is safe in my hands. And in big circles, he rotated his palm and created a medallion. In that medallion was a map of India. And in that, there were gems which were studded. And Swami said, in this is the future of this country, in fact the future of the world, Swami said. And then he said, in the future of the Sai avatar is written. He said there are going to be 18 centers all over the country where my students will lead. And he said the names of the students are also mentioned in this. And then we all pleaded, Swami, please read it out, please read it out. And Swami said, no, I won't read it out. You can if you want. And one of the boys went forward to read, and he said it was in very small script, but he plugged somebody's spectacle and kind of enlarged it. And he said, Swami, it's in Devanagari. Swami said, yeah, of course it's in Devanagari. And Swami said there are 100 shlokas in which the future of the Sai avatar, including the great social works which are going to come. This was the word Swami used. Of course, only in later years we got to know that it was about the water project and the super specialty hospitals and the mobile hospital, the general hospitals that Swami would unveil. So it was like this that Swami revealed to us that the future was safe in his hands, and he told us, you all don't have to worry. I will take you as you are and make you spiritual persons. You just have to follow my commands. I will tell you what you have to do at each point of time. This is what Swami said. You don't have to change your dress to a robe. He said, Ramakrishna Paramahansa had one Vivekananda. I have so many of you, and you are all sacred souls, and I will guide you at every step of the way. So this is how Swami indicated to us about the future of the country, how the future of the world is safe in his hands. We'll continue with this in the next session.